You guys, David and the family will be out in a little less than 10 minutes. He will make a statement. He will take no questions. No questions, please. Don't ask. Thank you very much.
Mic check, mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Just as a backup, and I'll just hardwire it right in the second. Laura. Say hello.
That one's really
Any more doubles in there?
What's that?
Any more doubles in there?
No, I can.
Yes.
Yeah.
We tried to get you to speak first time. Oh, you? Yeah. David is not going to take questions. I know they've told you guys that, but he appreciates you being here today and supporting the family. Obviously, it's a positive decision today, but David wants to say a few words to you. Thank you.
Today has been 30 years coming. Wasn't sure how to feel, what to expect. I know what I was hoping. I think, Susan, in the last 30 years, through her action, has continued to proven that it's all about her. What all this has done to her, how it has affected her. I haven't seen any remorse from her. So for her to think that I would even speak on her behalf, I do not understand that. But it's been such a tough 30 years for my family, for friends, loved ones, near and far. But today, the committee made the right decision and denied her parole at least for another 2 years. So I'm not looking forward to it in 2 more years to go through this again, but at least I know for now she'll still be behind bars. And for 2 more years, there'll still be justice for Michael and Alex. Thank you.
You want me to answer if they have any? We've got Kevin Brackett, who was my deputy solicitor at the time. Kevin is now the solicitor in York and Union counties. He tried the case with me. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. Yes, sir.
Are you surprised by the result?
Personally, now I've got to speak for me. David and his family, he can speak for himself, but we were cautiously optimistic. I think, as David said, she's demonstrated that it's always been about Susan from the day she committed the crime. And so I think we're hopeful, we're happy. It's unfortunate that the law wasn't what it is now, that life meant life, because I mean, as we spent the last 3 hours together, kind of reminiscing as a family, and we'll all be back 2 years from now, or as Solicitor Brackett said, as long as somebody's remembering Michael and Alex, we'll all be back here.
She mentioned living
Yes.
with her brother if she gets out. Would you want to see her back in the community?
From the folks I've spoken to in the Union community, they are ready to quit being the place where Susan Smith killed her children. I think the family members have said it's robbed them of their community and the love of their community. Absolutely, the best thing would be if Susan was ever paroled, is that she would just disappear and go be anonymous somewhere. But unfortunately, we know based on her behavior that that's not going to happen.
No, I think, as I told the parole board, she traumatized not just the family, but she traumatized that entire community and left a scar on Union that will exist as long as people remember what she did, which is going to be for a long time. So I don't think anybody would be excited to see her return.
Yes, sir.
After having to seek the death penalty, or after seeking the death penalty and this ending up the way it did, what will it mean to have to do this every 2 years?
It is a torture for this family. It was a reunion of sorts. I've shared with you before that I don't contact these folks because we represent a bad time in their lives. But when I see them, I mean, I'll start crying now talking about it. The sad thing is that every 2 years, as David said, the clock starts ticking. I mean, 30 years seems like it went like this, but the flip side is that this is a strong family. David has put it from the beginning that it's about Michael and Alex. And as long as I can draw breath and be here to support them, and I know the family feels the same, we'll be here.
I'm not sure you saw the
Yes, ma'am.
statement. I'm not sure you saw the statement that Susan Smith delivered earlier today. She was tearful. She appeared remorseful. But do you think she's the same woman that she was 3 years ago?
I believe Susan is the same woman she was 30 years ago when she laughed in the courtroom when the jury wasn't in and cried as soon as the jury came in. And I got no reason to believe anything different. We weren't able to see the feed that you guys saw, so I don't know if you saw. Kevin and I were discussing all the way from the day she called David Smith and he came out to the house, and he's on television, looks like a man who just told he lost his children, and Susan's excited about being on television. So I believe her to be the same. Solicitor, you may want
Yes,
to weigh
sir,
in.
I completely agree. You look at her record in jail and ask yourself, does this appear to be a woman who's changed her behavior, changed her life? If she were released, she would capitalize on this. She would attempt to monetize her fame. She does not need to be out of jail. She needs to stay in jail. These boys had 140 to 150 years of life ahead of them. She should stay there at least that long.
Attorney, I'm the Reverend, and we want to say we appreciate y'all hard work y'all done, because the black families and a lot of young black men were being attacked, because of what she said, and you went down and got the truth. And as a minister and for other ministers, I come to tell y'all thank y'all for what y'all done.
Reverend,
David, we'll pray for you and your family too.
Reverend, I want to tell you, I appreciate it. I've been asked over the years about the racial aspect of it. And I'll tell you, that community, you know, they think because we're Southern, because we sound like me, that there's going to be an issue. That community handled that issue. A reporter asked an African-American lady in Union, what do you think about the community blaming a black man? And she said the community didn't blame a black man. Susan Smith blamed the black man. So I appreciate your words here, and I know the family does.
I told him, when the police come, put your hands up and just say, I ain't done nothing, mister. I ain't got no gun. I ain't got no children.
Yes.
Well,
And the police were very respectful. They came to search the house. They pulled the guys over that was in the red Mazda, and they checked out and they wasn't there. They treated people fair. But we thank you because you went down and got the truth out.
Well, I made a point
Yes, sir.
of telling the parole board
Yes, sir.
that those people, how many black men who happen to resemble the man she imagined
Yes, sir.
driving a red Mazda in California or Colorado or Missouri, how many of those people got pulled over because of what she did? They're all victims too.
Thank you.
You mentioned too, you said if it had been a black man who had been arrested and charged, he wouldn't have gotten the death penalty. If it had been David Smith, he wouldn't have gotten the death penalty. What made it different for Susan?
I think the difference for Susan Smith was a combination, and only really the jurors can answer that. I think the fact the trial was in Union and you're going to see the same people at the grocery store every day, I think that made a difference. I think it makes us uncomfortable. It's actually a lot easier to blame the criminal or blame the father. We leave our kids at home every day with our mothers, and you know, we don't think about it, you know, and so I think it was unsettling, and they wanted to think there was some reason. It's hard for us to grasp that Susan's sole reason was selfishness and what was best for Susan.
And it's precisely that betrayal, because people expect their mothers to protect their children and lay down their very lives for them. And it's precisely that betrayal that makes this case so disturbing and such a terrible crime.
How does the community move forward after today's showing, and knowing you still got a path ahead? How do you move?
I think the difficulty is for these folks moving forward. I think Union, just like I'll always be the Susan Smith prosecutor, Union will always be the place where Susan Smith took Michael and Alex's life. I think where your prayers need to be, Reverend, is praying, as you said, for this family.
Yes, sir.
And for God's peace on them, because they're going to be dealing with it long after we go back home. Hug your kids tonight. Remember the positive things, and remember how hard this family fought and what they've been through and how they stood strong for Michael and Alex. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Her attorney brought up her past as far as her dad committing suicide.
Yes, sir.
How much do you think that played a role in the board's decision today? You think you thought about that enough?
I think the defense presented that, you know, all the way back in death penalty. And I think that may have helped in mitigation. You know, she went from Susan the monster at the time of the crime to Susan the victim when we're trying it in July. But the truth is, if you peel back the facts, as horrible as that is, she made choices. It's like David said today. She chose. If it had been a botched suicide, she could have shown up at that house wet. She could have shown up that house injured. She could have come and said, I made a horrible mistake. She didn't. It was all about what's best for Susan. And so those are sad, tragic circumstances, may have made the woman she is, but the woman she is made a horrible decision and took two precious lives. Ready, guys?
Yeah.
Good. Thank you for your time
Thank you.
today. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you, David, and y'all do a good job, David. We pray for you and your family. We pray for you. And we pray for you to turn on your God. I was saying that day you told me to could be a real. I said, watch, I never forget that. Y'all take these and God bless. Hey, Charles.
Hey, your job said you want to run for Yeah, there you go.
You tell me when you're ready. Okay. Mhm.
Thank you, Reverend. If you would please give us your name and
Okay.
your relationship
Okay.
to this case.
Okay. My name is Reverend Raymond Johnson, Raymond, from Mount Pisgah Baptist Church, Marion, South Carolina. Mount Pisgah, Pisgah. I'm associated minister at the church. And the reason I'm here today because I'm hurt. Susan not only hurt her children, but she hurt the whole black community. She chose to focus on the black man. And you had black folks there were scared to come out the house. When they heard a knock on the door, they throw their hand up. Hands up, please don't shoot. Ain't no children in here. Police was pulling people over on I-40, I-65, I-17, I-85, I-10, and outside the road there. But we thank God because we got to the truth. They,
Thank you.
Justice Department, she asked me
Thank
for
you,
him to
sir.
do it.
Okay.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Okay,
All right,
thank
thank you, sir. Okay, I'm gonna ask you to come back inside. All right, thank you. You can head back inside. Okay. All right. So the press conference is gonna take place inside. I'm gonna take about 5 or 6 of y'all at a time. We're gonna go up on the elevators. All right. You do have to go. You can bring in cell phones, your cameras, all the stuff. You can bring it all in. Press conference is inside. Some of our staff members will speak to you about the parole hearing process inside. If you would like to come inside, you might have gotten everything you needed right here. So you're probably good.
Yeah.
Probably don't need that.
Yeah, respectfully, I think it's right now.
Probably don't need it. Yep.
I appreciate every bit of your hospitality. And if you ever see an old guy like me out here, and we can pivot, I'll make sure this is a better spot out here. I don't see it.